Hi everyone, just testing. Jolie, can you hear me through?
Yes, Sam, I can hear you.
Oh, hi, welcome. How are you?
I'm good, thank you.
Good, good. Now I'd like to just waiting for a couple more people to jump on. Perfect. Alrighty. Well, hello everyone. I'd like to welcome you to the call tonight. I'm so excited about tonight's inner circle. We have a full house with over 100 women on the call, and we've had so much interest that we've had to create a wait list. So you're very lucky to have secured your seat. And I recognise some old names and some new ones, and it really warms my heart to see so many wonderful women here tonight. So before we sink our teeth into tonight's session, I want to say a big congratulations to you all. You all should be proud of the fact that you're here tonight, that you're investing in you. Your biggest asset, especially in relationships, is knowledge. So the more knowledge you have, the greater understanding you will have of what men want and ultimately what it is that you want, and gain so much power to live the life that you deserve and have the relationship that you desire. So the knowledge gives you the ability to take control of your life and influence the others around you and create your ideal life. And it's those very reasons that have driven me to create the Make Men Commit Inner Circle. After 10 years of matching and coaching smart, strong, successful women with Blue Label Life, I've found that women have been really reaching out. They've been searching for the answers to decode the male mind and discover what men want and how to make a man commit. It's really not like the olden days of when it was a given that sure we'd get married and have children one day. Today's relationships are really they're so much more complicated. We have gender confusions, the masculine energies to consider, and masculine feminine energies, and the fast-paced lifestyle, and there's so much more. So I'm sure you're ready. And on that note, I'd like to introduce you to our very, very special guest tonight. We have Joel Dela Cruz.
Hello, Sam, how are you?
I'm well. How are you, Joel?
Oh, I'm fantastic, and I'm happy to be on the webinar tonight,
Oh,
especially with such great company as you, Sam. So thank you very much for this honor.
my pleasure. We're so excited. I want to say a big thank you for your time. I know that you're a really, really busy coach, and you coach a lot of women both within Australia and internationally. And ladies, Joel is actually known as the relationship oracle. He empowers women aged specifically between 25 to 45 years young to help them attract and reconnect with their femininity and to really become loved and be attractive. So Joel, I'm really excited about our inner session, our inner circle today. So, I guess my question is, are you ready to rock? Like, where do you want to start?
Um, I am ready to start the session with to empower women tonight, especially women who truly needs it, who truly wants to have a fantastic relationship. So I'll always start with the end in mind, which is what we want to achieve tonight, Sam.
That's brilliant. And I can see you've had a great, I've got a couple of clients, testimonials that have said some really fantastic, fantastic things about you. Now, I know these ladies are eagerly in waiting, and so make sure you have a pen and paper handy, and I'm sure you'll be writing some notes on how you can implement what you'll learn tonight and implement it in your life right now. So let's get started, Joel.
Great. Okay. Thank you. Um, we're going to provide what I consider to be the most advanced and most effective tool in relationship coaching, as well as dating coaching. Our audience may be unfamiliar with this coaching technique, so I will explain it to them, what they are and why they are so powerful. So we'll go through it step by step, so we won't lose anyone.
It's fantastic, Joel. So where would you like to start?
Okay. I always start my coaching sessions with the client's intention. So pretend for a moment, ladies, that you are my client. So I'm going to ask you, what is your intention tonight? As your coach, what would you like to give to this session? And it could be something as simple as having fun, something to give to yourself tonight. Perhaps it's a gift to be a sponge and absorb the information and use this information resourcefully. So when you leave this webinar tonight, you've got something to take with you. And my intention for you, for everyone tonight, is to bring awareness, to provide you with awareness of thought and being.
That's brilliant, Joel. I really love it. You're so right. Setting an intention is a surefire way of achieving success rather than aimlessly just seeing what happens. So that's really beautiful stuff, Joel. And, over the last few weeks since I launched this, we've launched this webinar together, I've been inundated with questions, and it's so wonderful to see so many inquisitive women out there. And our most popular questions from the ladies have been, the first one has been how to boost self-esteem, and number 2, how to stop self-sabotaging relationships.
Oh, those are great questions. So let's start at the beginning with this. So low self-esteem and self-sabotaging, they actually stem from what is known as the universal fears. So the things that we are afraid of, it is universal because everyone and everybody have these fears inside them.
So what are the main fears, Joel?
Okay, the main fears are, let's see, fear of not being good enough, fear of not belonging, and also fear of not being loved. So not being good enough, not belonging, and not being loved.
That's very interesting. So could you tell me a little bit more about the fear of not belonging? Is that like not belonging to a group, or is it something to do with peer pressure?
Yeah, I think you will touch on this tonight, Sam. It's known as a human need for connection. Somehow we want to feel connected.
Oh, beautiful.
If I just quickly bring about my 2-year-old son, each time I come home, when I open the door, he will want to check to see if he's good enough, if he still belongs, and if he's being loved. So the moment that I acknowledge him and hug him and touch him and say, hey, how are you? I love you. Then he gets all those fears. They're all squashed. So in a way that's he felt like he's belonged.
Beautiful. I love it. Acknowledgement, so important to men. We will be touching on that later. And, it's really true that I do know that some women, we live behind these fears of not, and that really inhibits us from living the potential in life. And in fact, as humans, we tend to do more things to avoid feeling pain and fear than we do to feel pleasure. So, Joel, what are the ways you work with your clients to combat these fears, and is there anything that we can do about them?
Okay, perhaps some, yes, definitely. Would you like me to go through a simple coaching question with you?
Please.
Okay, great. Now, so here it is. The answer is quite simple, actually, and surprisingly, it works. Right? To overcome fear, right, is to get curious. Right, to get interested, to have a childlike wonder, to get curious about something else. So ask yourself the question, what could I do if I couldn't fail? And in that space of curiosity, fear cannot exist. And when fear cannot exist, because we are in the space of love. So when we are curious, we find love.
Beautiful. Yeah, I love that, Joel, and I love the question. that you ask, what could I do if I knew I couldn't fail? And that this question really gives the person the opportunity to take responsibility of their life, and put action in place. It's beautiful stuff. And I have to agree, the space of curiosity and space is a space of love and pure, and it feels really safe. And I guess that's the energy that I get from you as an individual. So thank you.
Oh, yes, you're welcome. Fear prevents everything, actually. It prevents wealth. Okay? It prevents money from coming in. Prevents health. And it prevents a healthy, fruitful relationship. So let's give this a go, ladies. Let's do this. Okay, everyone out there, close your eyes. Okay, have them closed, and just listen to me. Think of a time when you were very afraid. Just pick a moment, pick an event that you were scared and fearful. Now, pause that image and actually freeze it. Okay, and imagine yourself getting curious outside of this. Get curious about anything while holding that fearful image in your mind. For example, you can have an image of being attacked by a bird. Now freeze that image. Now think of what you'll have for dinner, what you'll be doing on your next holiday, who you're going to be with. Are you going to be with Brad Pitt or Tom Cruise? Take your choice, whichever you fancy. Okay? Right. So while having that fearful picture in your mind, I want to ask you, did fear exist? Okay, Sam, how about for you? How did you go with that?
Well, you have such a hypnotic voice that I really was taking myself into that fearful moment, and that was, it brought up unsettling feelings. But when you asked me to think about, expanding my awareness and be curious, the really beautiful thing about that is it gave me a sense of hope, and it was like putting out a flame and creating just some peace. And yeah, that's how it impacted me.
Hey, that's awesome, Sam. I'm smiling over here. Thank you.
So, is it true that fear cannot exist in love?
Yeah, very true, very true. In the space of love, nothing else can exist, not even fear.
Not even fear.
That's right.
Wow. So it's very special. So, Joel, you led us to love, and but I want to say thank you for that. So, do you have anything else that you could share with the ladies? I mean, what's a good strategy for our ladies to use when it comes to matters of the heart, since we are on this topic?
Oh, great. Is it okay that I share a coaching model with you, Sam?
Oh, please do. Absolutely.
Yeah. I want to introduce this coaching model. It's called the Be Do Have model, and it's it's a very effective model because I use it very often in my coaching sessions with clients. And do you know anything about the coaching model of Be Do Have?
So the B do have, yeah, I'm aware of that, but I'd love to hear your insight.
Yeah, okay. Yeah, the Be Do Have model is very powerful. And what it is, Sam, is it's a strategy that we all run. A strategy is just a fancy word of saying the way we do things. So I could have a strategy of eating, for example. Um, take 3 bites and swallow. That could be a strategy. It might not be a good one, however, it's still a strategy. So, so Sandy, we do have, it starts with being, okay, and then doing, which leads to having. So your being, which is basically your mindset, your state, your heart, your love, your spirit, okay, that's your being. It will determine what you do. So doing is like simply the actions or the steps that are taken. And out of actions, when they are taken, it will produce the results, which is what we have. So having occurs.
Beautiful. That sounds very interesting and logical. So if it's so simple, surely we're all doing that. Is that right?
um, you'd be surprised. As simple as it sounds, it is actually quite complex for majority of people in our society. Society today tends to do things in reverse. They do the have, do, be model.
Have, do, be. Do tell us more.
Yeah, so instead of going forward with be, do, have, so they do the have, do, be. So it's like this, Sam. I often hear this in society, and I hear it as well in when I coach people, and basically in general, like in general conversation. They hear things like this. When I have a great career, then I'll be happy. When I have a fantastic guy in my life, I'll be happy and I'll be set for life. Perhaps to teenagers, when I have a car, then I'll be free. I'll have fun. Okay, so they start with having. They want to have first in order to have a particular outcome. This strategy sets them up to fail. Though in coaching, there is no such thing as failure, only feedback. So by having something first, they get a huge feedback from life.
So how can our participants actually apply this model? Because I know it's one of your favourites.
Oh yeah, it is my favorite. When I coach, I look into how my client is being. So if their state of being is incongruent or it's not aligned or it's not meaningful to achieve their particular outcome, then I coach them on their being.
Do you have any examples you could share with us?
Okay, all right, let's look at this. So I have a client, for example. Let's call her Miss Lady. Okay, she tells me what she wants in life. So she wants a man, for example, so that she says, I won't be lonely. Okay, does that sound familiar?
Yes, very familiar.
Okay, yeah. Okay, so I look at this person's state. Okay, obviously this person, this beautiful lady, says, I'm lonely. Okay, I don't coach them on how to get a man. I don't coach them on having something, because getting a man is natural. Nature takes care of that. The law of attraction is always at work. Okay, so let's go back to my example. So Miss Lady is lonely. Right, here's the thing. Being lonely doesn't attract a man. Loneliness in her thinking, her mindset, and in her heart only propels other people away. Okay, despite the contrary. Okay? I know this is true because I have seen the pattern many times over in my career, in my coaching. And when I give awareness for my client, and then it suddenly hits like a huge bomb goes off. And when they start to being aware, oh, they are being lonely, and when they change that, the outcome is outstanding. So this is how I know the model works.
So what do your clients do, or do you have to sort of coach your client to get them to their outcome? To say, for example, have a relationship?
Okay. After I verify that they are lonely, so they're not loved. Okay, so not being loved is a universal fear. It could also be sadness, or they're afraid, they're lost, or even stuck. Then I'll ask them to think of a time when they were the opposite. Okay, so participants out there, just close your eyes again, and just say you're lonely. Okay, now I want you to think of a time when you were the opposite. Think of a time when you were absolutely experiencing love, and I want you to immerse yourself in that feeling. Okay, you may even want to look up. While your eyes are closed, you look up, So you remember, look to your left and have your shoulders back. So we're creating this physiology. And think of that time when you were absolutely in love, when you were connected, and nothing else exists. How's that for you, Sam?
It's taking me to an amazing place.
Oh, great.
So is that's beautiful. What else is there? What other tools do you recommend?
Okay, from there I work with my client to come up with simple things they can do. So let's backtrack again. So they're now in a being, in a state of love. Now they can do something. So B, we're doing the do. They can do something very simple to reinforce that being. So our unconscious mind or our ego looks for evidence. So we have to provide evidence. If an image, for example, brings about that feeling of connection, of being loved, I would suggest to my clients to have a picture of someone they love and have it in their room. So that way, whenever they see something, the unconscious mind takes over and have that feeling of love. So the doing reinforces the being. It could be as simple as putting a picture somewhere on the wall or on a shelf somewhere. How does that sound to you?
That sounds great. So what are the benefits of the Be Do Have model, Joel?
Well, the main benefits are empowerment, awareness, and, most importantly, control. When you are aware of your thoughts, your being, then you can control them. Remember, you are not your thoughts. You have thoughts. When you are aware that you can choose your thought, then you are empowered to change them. Now, the reverse model, have, do, be, which most of the society subscribes to, is less empowering because they are at the effect of having something first. The being is at the effect of something they may not be able to control.
That's what's one interesting feature do you find about the Be Do Have model?
Okay, it is an interesting feature that we can use to benefit our participants tonight. Right, here it is. I'm going to call this the timeline. Okay, so having, right, let's do this in reverse. So having something now is actually a result of your past. What you were being before is the result that you have now. So having is something in the past. Okay, now doing can only do something in the present moment. So that's a no-brainer. We can't do something in the past or nor the future. So doing happens in the present. Now, which leaves something very important. Being determines your future. And when I say this, my clients, like, something pops and they begin to choose their future by determining their being. So Sam, can we do something about our past?
Definitely not. Definitely not. But I certainly love the idea of being able to choose the future and taking control.
That's right. Well, we can do something about the future, and ideally the best way to start is the state of being. So if you want love, then be loving. Be loved. Feel love. You would want to vibrate in the frequency of love. That way you will attract or manifest another being of love. Another human being who has love to give. And that is just so beautiful. I hope everyone out there gets that.
That's amazing, Joel. I really that's it's so true. I mean, thank you so much for sharing your insights. You've been an absolute wealth of knowledge, and I can imagine the ladies online will be able to act right away and transform their lives with some of the tools that you've implemented.
Yes, very much. And if the participants, they want to know more, they can write to me at help@yourrelationshiporacle.com or visit my blog, yourrelationship.com. So, appreciate that. Love to hear from everyone out there.
Oh, thank you, Joel. And yeah, ladies, definitely check out the Joel's blog, therelationshipvalues.com and yourrelationshipOracle.com. He's got some really fantastic insights. Now I believe it's my turn to give you some value, give value to our participants. So I'm
Yeah.
and excited. So thank you.
Yeah. Thank you, Sam. And before you have your turn, is it okay that I get you and everyone else there to stand up and have a stretch?
Oh,
Is that okay?
absolutely. Sounds like a
Yeah.
good. We're halfway through, so absolutely.
Great. Okay, ladies, and some gents out there who might be posing as ladies. Anyway, just hands up in the air, reach for the ceiling, cross your fingers together, and just have that stretch, and then lean back and just let it go. Ah,
It's lovely.
ah. Okay,
Alrighty.
and we're not having sex, by the way. It's just
Very
love to
funny.
stretch.
Back on topic, back on. Okay. All right, ladies, are you ready for me to reveal what it takes to make a man commit and really feel infatuated and making sure he never wants to leave? Well, I bet you can't wait. I really wish that someone had told me these secrets many years ago. I wouldn't have had to rely on trial and error and reading hundreds of hours of reading just about every dating and relationship book out there and interviewing literally thousands of men over the years through my matchmaking and through my blogs. And yeah, look, it's one of the main reasons I'm here right now that drove me. All this conflicting and confusing information out there has been my driver for creating what I like to call is MakeMenCommit.com. MakeMenCommit.com is created to help women, successful, strong, powerful women, to regain control of their lives with the knowledge they need to have the relationship and the love that they deserve.
Wow, this is fantastic. Sam, can you tell me more?
Yeah, I'd love to. So the true secret of keeping a man infatuated is quite simple. And it's far from rocket science. It actually comes down to a few simple things. Keeping a man infatuated really comes down to the 6 core needs. Now, believe it or not, everything and anything we do in life is motivated, and we do things in life to fulfill these needs. So some of you may be aware of them, others not. So I'm about to share some more with you. So the 6 core needs are certainty. There's variety, which is also known as uncertainty, but I prefer to call it variety. There's significance, which is very, very important to men. Love and connection, probably more so important to women and still very important to men. Contribution and growth, or growth and contribution, they're vital. So if all of these needs are met with your man, he will never want to leave. He is yours forever. And of these needs, most of us have 2 main core drivers, 2 main core needs that we base our decision making on. So some couples have the same core needs, others are polar opposites. And that's absolutely fine. You know, you'll know that some couples, like the man might be really active and adventurous, and he may have a big driver for variety, whereas the lady in the relationship may want more romance and, more interested in love and connection. So it's absolutely fine to be polar opposites, but as long as you're aware of yours and your partner's, that you can both live very fulfilling lives. Because of all these fundamental needs, when they've been met, your man feels completely full. He completely feels whole, and he has absolutely no reason to look elsewhere. He's completely and utterly fulfilled with his life with you. So what more could a man want? So let me elaborate on the first core need of certainty. Most people are addicted to certainty. It's human nature to have the need for security, something safe to land on. Certainty gives us comfort, consistency, and it helps us avoid pain and fear. It's also one of the main reasons women tend to stay in unhealthy relationships. And it's where the saying, better the devil you know, comes from. One thing for certain about certainty is that certainty is actually the greatest illusion that exists. While it's great to have some elements of certainty in your life, it's really all about balance. You see, too much certainty is really quite unhealthy. Why? Well, because too much certainty in life removes possibility, adventure, and fun. The minute you see possibility, you're overcome with excitement and choice. You empower yourself and understand that you have choice to take control of your life. So imagine a life full of possibility and adventure. I want you to imagine, what would it look like? What would you see? What would you hear? And what are you telling yourself? One very resourceful way of creating healthy certainty is having rituals in your life. Having consistent weekly rituals that you practice 2 to 3 times a week is actually the secret to happiness. So what are your rituals? And I don't mean brushing your teeth or putting on moisturizer. I mean the things with heart, the things that you do for fun, things that you do for passion. So take a few moments to write them down. Write down at least one thing you'd like to be doing regularly. It could be anything and only you know. It could be going to the gym more often, seeing friends. It could be the dance class that you've always wanted. It could be trying something new, a yoga session, going for that bushwalk. Having a really full life to your man will make you absolutely irresistible to your man. He'll admire you for your passions and rituals, and his eyes you'll be very, very incredibly interesting. So think about how you can create certainty or rituals for your man. Just write them down. It could be as simple as cooking together, a date night on hump day, so you know, say every Wednesday you have your thing that you do. It could be exercising together. And you know the saying goes that couples that play together stay together.
That's so true, Sam.
Do you have any rituals that you have with your wife?
Yeah, at least once a week we have to do something. Even if it's just to cuddle up in front of her favorite TV show, I'll do that. Movies, DVD, for example, and taking the kids out at least once a week.
Yeah.
So it's something we agree to do.
Beautiful. And I'd love to hear from any of the listeners that have some ideas about some of the rituals. If they'd like to share, feel free to type through some messages, and we'd love to hear your insights. This now also brings us to the second core need of variety, probably my favorite, also known as uncertainty. So it may sound really strange going from certainty to uncertainty, but certainty, as I mentioned, is really all about variety. So uncertainty is about creating adventure in your life. The need for variety and challenge gives you freedom, and it gives you pleasure and allows you to grow. This is a really big one for keeping passion alive in relationships. It eliminates boredom and really ignites your love life. I mean, people that are controlling have very high levels of certainty because what they're doing is they're trying to protect themselves. Remember, certainty is all about protecting yourself and avoiding pain. And people who are very controlling have very low levels of variety. So quite often, they do things to control themselves, to keep them safe. They're really driven by certainty, and they can, as a result, have slightly less energy and never really feel the need, the actual fulfillment they really desire. And I have a little bit of gold for you ladies, something I've discovered, and it's absolutely incredible. So, especially for you ladies who like the bad boys out there, um, a big reason for your man to self-sabotage is he's trying to tell you subconsciously that he has a greater need for variety and adventure. So it's a little bit like his subconscious mind saying, I'm bored, I need a challenge. So if you notice your man suddenly starts to behave like a bad boy, drinking with the boys, not coming home on time, telling little white lies, all those things, it's really his way of telling you that he's just bored. So, you know, the funny thing is he doesn't even know it. And the fact that you now know this, it's it's really powerful stuff. And you have the power to stop him from self-sabotaging and really make the difference in your relationship. And all you have to do is turn up the adventure in your life. So add some variety, but a healthy variety and drama. So we all are actually addicted to drama as humans, but the way to do this resourcefully, still protect and ignite your relationship. And one of the best ways I find, especially for men, is to take him to a footy game. Footy games are really unpredictable. They have high levels of drama. It's equivalent for us to be watching a rom-com or, say, Revenge. And if footy is not his thing, take him to his favourite sport or surprise him with tickets to the car races if that's what he likes, or, whatever really tickles his fancy. And it could be as simple as trying a new restaurant or a random weekend away or an aimless drive, just exploring a new destination, or, head out for the super adventurous, try skydive, rock climbing, jet skiing. There's so many things that you could do to add variety to your relationship, and do this, and you can imagine the bragging rights he'll have to his friends. So you'll be the most amazing woman in the world, I can certainly assure you. And it's a really win-win situation. So he'll stop self-sabotaging, and he'll adore you even more for putting back the sparkle in his life and your life. And a relationship that meets the need for variety and uncertainty is really rich in contribution. So
Yeah.
what do you think, Joel? Is variety important to you?
Yeah, definitely. I just want to make a note and highlight something, that having drama is a good way to achieve variety. Okay? So, sometimes I'm sure some people out there have watched soap operas. So, however, too much drama may not be that good. So too much of a good thing, especially in drama. Okay, ladies, not good.
Yeah,
So,
look,
lady.
absolutely. And there's healthy dramas such as, rom-coms, watching Revenge. I mean, everyone's watching that at the moment. I was actually at the morning show this weekend today, and watching Larry and Kylie reenact a scene. It was just hilarious. But what we mean by unhealthy drama, it's things like alcohol and escapism and lying, and those sorts of things really are unhealthy for a relationship. So create healthy drama, variety, fun and adventure, and you'll keep your man connected. And that's so, so important, especially for the
Very
bad
true.
boys out there. So this brings us to our third core need. Can you guess what it is? Significance. And this is so important, especially to men. So it's really, too often ignored, and women a lot of the times just aren't aware of actually the importance of significance for men, and it's simply just due to a lack of knowledge, or the fact that men and women are wired so differently. I mean, just an example, I mean, women speak 20,000 words a day, men speak 7,000. So we're completely the opposite, and we look for love differently and express love differently. So, most of you probably read or heard of the book Men Are From Mars and Women Are From Venus. And if you remember the tip that he talks about, and it stands out in my head, and I read it about 10 plus years ago, and he talks about when a man takes out the rubbish, give him praise. And this is so powerful, so much more powerful than you realize. You know, when a man takes out the rubbish and you say nothing, or, you know, you don't even acknowledge, like, by not even acknowledging him, or worse still, say to him, well, that's your job. Look at the things I do around the house. You know, your man will actually see this as him, you punishing him. And, you know, when he's doing something for you, like taking out the rubbish, giving you a massage, taking you for dinner, he's looking for significance. The most important thing for men is really to be appreciated and accepted. So acceptance is so important to a man. So when he does those things for you, really highlight how much you appreciate them. And the beautiful thing about that is you'll get so much more back in return. So, you know, when you do that for a man, it makes him feel seen and really heard, and then it means something to you in the world, you know, in your world. And, you know, the bulk of the population is really screaming out for significance. That is so especially true with men. With significance, you can either be a giver of significance or a getter of significance. So the alpha male is actually the ultimate getter of significance. He's really, you know, when he doesn't get the attention that he's seeking, then he'll do something to get that attention. So, you know, quite often a getter of significance really, they really repel people, and they're quite often trying to fulfill their needs through people in relationships, but they really can't do it because all they feel their life is really is drama. So it's really vital to look at, are you giving significance or predominantly getting significance? And, you know, the giver of significance is actually the more powerful place to be. It puts others first, takes note of others people's efforts, and it's actually all about saying thank you and complimenting others, but genuinely complimenting and showing appreciation. And men really, really want to be appreciated. That's something that I really would love to highlight.
Yeah, very true, Sam. Just so we're clear for our audience out there as well, is significance another word for feeling important and unique? Is that right?
That's absolutely true. Yeah. Thanks, Joel, for clarification.
Right. Thanks, Sam.
My pleasure. Now this takes us to our next core need, which is love and connection. And it's the fourth core need. It's generally the highest, as I mentioned, to women, and it's quite often their driver. So women often do things in life to feel the love and connection. So in relationships, most people do, unfortunately, have an exit strategy. They generally only give 70%, just in case. And I'm sure we all can be a little guilty of that, potentially having a backup plan, not really being sure. You know, most people unconsciously are really just in connection and are not in love, not being fully vulnerable, and that's what it means to be fully in love and to give yourself. So just think about this as a metaphor, and imagine being in a boat with one foot in and one foot out. You'd pretty much have disaster on your hands, wouldn't you? Or you'd have a really good balancing act. So it's similar in relationships. If you don't give 100%, how can you truly expect your man to give you 100%? And a great way to fulfill your man's core need of love and connection is to match his love language. Now, there are 5 love languages. You may or may not have heard of them. And they are words of affirmation. So things like, I love you, when somebody says how much they care about you, they're words of affirmation. Physical touch. So things like massage. Notice how some people, when they speak to you, they're constantly sort of placing their hands on you. That's their way of actually expressing love. Then there's quality time. So quality time is about spending, maybe having breakfast together, going for walks. There's also gifts. Some people show love by gifts. They may not say I love you, but they show you that they love you through surprise and acts of service. So just doing things for you. And I remember having a gorgeous client, and she was saying, I'm really not sure if my man loves me. He hasn't said anything. And I took her through the love languages, and we figured out that his love language was acts of service because he was constantly doing things for her. Fixing her shower, fixing her bathroom, fixing her furniture, mowing her lawns. He was always out there giving back to her, although it was very difficult for him to say the actual words. So ask yourself, do you know your love language? And if you're not sure, just ask yourself, how do you know when somebody loves you? And if you continuously ask, how do I know when somebody loves me? What's the proof that you need? And you'll find that one of the 5 things will come up for you. So the 5 things were words of affirmation, physical touch, quality time, gifts, and acts of service. And you'll find you'll have at least one or two dominant acts of love. So in terms of relationships, it's really okay to have different love languages to your man. Most importantly, it's so vital to recognize what his are. If you know what his are and you match them, meet them, in return he will naturally fulfill your love language without you even asking. So the 5th core need we have is what we call growth. This is the need for constant development emotionally, intellectually, and spiritually. This is one of the reasons women are attracted to men that they can learn from. Men too are attracted to women they can admire and experience some form of personal growth from. A man loves to be proud of his woman. He adores a woman who sets healthy boundaries and standards and makes him work for her. He makes a man step up to be a better man. The 5th core need is contribution. This one's all about giving. It's all about giving beyond ourselves, giving to others. And it's essentially all about giving love. It's all about sharing what your man has with you. This is why it's so important for you to acknowledge your man when he does something for you. And one more little tip I'd love to share with you ladies. It's all about, and it's a very powerful one, it's about validation. If you want more love in your life, really show him that appreciation. So I want to thank you so much for listening in. This wraps it up for the evening, and I trust that you've had some incredible tools to take with you and implement right now to gain that dream relationship that you deserve. And as a gift for you and your time, both Joel and I would like to offer you something special. Joel is offering the first 5 women to contact him a huge 50% off his coaching packages. That's an incredible opportunity to work with you one-on-one with the Relationship Oracle at 50% off. So ladies, do get in touch with Joel on help@yourrelationshiporacle.com. Now my gift, are you looking,
yeah.
Sorry?
Yeah. Thank you, Sam. I just want to thank the ladies for listening, and looking forward to hearing from you through the email. So, and thank you for that, Sam.
Brilliant. My pleasure. Thank you so much for your time, Joel. It's been an absolute pleasure to have you online. And before we go, the gift to you I'd love to offer you to join my inner circle, which is at 75% off. It's normally $3.97, but if you register tonight, you'll receive 4 sessions for the price of 1. Plus, you'll receive a free Mastering Relationships ebook valued at $19.95. So if you invest in you then discover what it takes to be irresistible to the opposite sex. that makes you confident, which ultimately means you'll be even more attractive to men because you're using skills that you've learnt in your coaching, whether it be group or one-on-one. It's an absolute must to build your knowledge, to gain confidence, and to commit yourself to be true to your goals. This is what everyone wants time and time again. Wherever you go, you can use these skills and pay it forward. And ultimately, you can live happily ever after. Good night, everyone.
Good night, everyone, and thank you, Sam.
No worries. I'll stay online for a few moments if anyone has any questions. I'd love to help out. And Joel, I'm sure would love to help out too.
Yeah, I will. I'll stay on. Thank you, everyone.
Night.